Brian Pearse is the 2023 recipient of the Lieutenant Governor's Award for Distinguished Achievement in Consulting Engineering.
In high school, I thought I'd be an electrician, like many in our family. But when I learned about engineering in grade 11, I was intrigued about engineering because of design. I thought that would be kind of a really cool occupation to be able to envision something, put it down on paper, and then see it be built. I got a Bachelor of Science in Agricultural Engineering at the U of A. Then I went back in '91 and pursued a civil engineering degree. I've really only ever worked for one company. I guess I've been steeped in consulting engineering. When I started there in 1986, there was about 75 people. We primarily did surveying and engineering. Ron McGaffin, our CEO, approached me and said, "I'd like to see you in my chair one day." And he said, "I'd like to create a new role called Chief Business Officer. In that role, you'll be responsible for safety, quality management, human resources, and strategy." That's a pretty unique assembly of responsibilities, and it seemed a bit odd at the time, but I'm very happy that he did. We were able to get ISO certified, which at the time was pretty rare, I think, for a consulting engineering firm. In 2008, the board approached me to become CEO. I felt like I was able to take that role on with experience and compassion. I absolutely loved to assess and work on our corporate culture, visit the offices and talk to our people.
Brian was always interested in what you were doing and how you were finding things. Starting in 2010 on, I remember we were probably about 150 people. During Brian's watch, we started growing from there and we were up 700 people pretty quick.
In 2013, we had expanded into transportation, industrial, and geotechnical engineering, where we had our own mobile labs for materials testing and a central lab.
The industrial department I was in, we were very small. And then all of a sudden, we had like 70, 80 people. Engineering and surveying, they don't always mix. My industrial surveying team worked with the materials testing team and the geotechnical team. When you do that, you see different opportunities with each other and with each other's clients as well. That was under Brian's leadership.
Opus was looking to expand from New Zealand and Australia and the UK into Canada, so we were a big stepping stone in that regard.
When he left Stewart Ware, it was easy for me to choose him as somebody I wanted to work with. His natural aptitude of working with First Nations was very evident.
Typically, a conversation with a client might look like duration, quality, and pricing. Those aren't really the top of the list for First Nations. Most importantly, they need to feel that they can work with you and trust you. And I think that's the definition of a consulting engineer. They're very good at understanding the impact that a project can have on their community. My role with them is to help them deliver it and try to involve as many First Nation members as possible. Through collaborating, maybe we find that win-win-win that's better than what the initial project might have anticipated.
At the end of the day, I trust Brian wholeheartedly. I know he's honest, I know he's straightforward. He listens really well. He will wait for the right time to say what he has to say. It's real important that when you do a project with a local community, you're leaving something behind. We had worked quite a bit with the Pearse Trout Lake First Nation on their logging aspect. He did a great job of trying to organize their companies to be productive. It's not just the project.
If you work together and as a team, you can discover a solution that's perhaps better than was initially envisioned. I began volunteering at CEA in the early 90s. The Alberta government decided that they were going to outsource engineering services in their highway program. In their wisdom, they chose the Consulting Engineers of Alberta to be their one-point contact. The Consulting Engineers of Alberta brings the consulting engineering community together. We can share issues, envision things that could be better for the mutual benefit of everyone involved, including the public. CEA brought us all together as an engineering community. I think in many ways that was a catalyst for a lot of change in the consulting industry. After volunteering on that transportation committee, I was asked to chair it and was asked to be president of CEA, which I accepted. It's so nice to see that community continuing today, where we've got good friends and colleagues with other firms, and that's totally okay.
Brian also provided leadership at APEGA, first on its council and later as president.
At APEGA, there's a variety of backgrounds, and I really can never not be a consulting engineer. But the task at hand is governance oversight.
We undertook to transition APEGA Council from an operationally focused board to one that would be strategically focused. And part of that transition was to reduce the number of council committees from 11 to 4. Brian can look at a big picture, and he's able to create a clear and compelling vision of success. He kept us on track to make this transition work. After he finished his first tour of duty, I tracked him down and said, "You must become president of APEGA." Brian would be a good president to carry on that work, because after you pour cement, you gotta wait a while for it to harden.
Brian is a thoughtful leader who has an ease of dealing with people. Brian had the unique way of having a conversation, and things might get a little too serious, and he might say, "Let's go to the water cooler." His way of saying, just speak your mind.
My advice to a young engineer would be to watch the movie Yes Man with Jim Carrey. I've seen young people who are starting a career and they're faced with a challenge of going out into the field or going to a remote location. What I've discovered is that when you do take on those challenges, that's where a person can not only learn a new skill, but learn something new about a project and learn something new about themselves.
He is a world champion cutting horse competitor.
My family always had horses, so we did a lot of showing pleasure horses when I was young, right up until I graduated university. And it's how I met my wife, Colleen. In this one barn we were in, we got some exposure to a cutting horse and knew that this could be pretty fun. We bought some horses and started showing a little bit here in Alberta, and then found a good trainer in Scottsdale. Started showing in Arizona and California, New Mexico, and in 2017 the stars aligned and was able to become a world champion in Fort Worth. In the show pen, we've got 2.5 minutes to show our horse. We need to cut out at least 2 cows, one at a time. It's really a collaborative effort between the rider and their horse. Somehow together the magic happens. At a point you have to drop your hand and just let things unfold, and life can be like that.
On behalf of CEA, congratulations on your award, Brian.